the City Council is present. Notice of this meeting was posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. We would like to welcome all the citizens, visitors, and guests. If you have not signed in, please do so at the podium in the lobby at this time. At this time, we ask that all cell phones be silenced. Please step outside if the need to have a phone conversation arises. If you would like to address the council, please fill out a speaker card and turn it in to the city secretary. Speaker cards are located at the podium in the lobby. You may speak when called upon. Please do not speak out from your seat. When you are called upon, approach the podium, speak into the microphone, and state your name and address clearly. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Now we have our invocation. Brother Duffy.
Gracious Father, as we bow as humble as we know how, we thank you in the name of Jesus, Father God. We ask you, as we lift up our government body, Father God, our local body, we ask you to give them wisdom and understanding, Father God, to make good decisions, Father God, for our community. We also pray, Father God, for the support that they be able to have in the community. And also, we just thank you, Father God, for the wisdom that you have given this body, Father God. As we go on, Father God, about your business and about your faith, we ask you for your continued grace and your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Now for our pledges. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Items of community interest. Mayor and council reports and items of community interest pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.415. The City Council and Mayor may report on the following items: expression of thanks, congratulations or condolences, information about holiday schedules, recognition of individuals, reminders of upcoming city events, information about community events, and announcements involving imminent threat to public health and safety. We have a proclamation. Let's see. Actually, that is our cultural district designation. The cultural district designation for the city of Winnsboro has been renewed by the Texas Commission of Arts. Sure.
Could we do that too?
Sure.
I know they're going to resist a little bit, but I really want them to come. She's here and Cheryl's here and Debbie's here also. And she's going to be behind the camera. But these people have worked so hard. I cannot stand up here without them.
All right. Whereas this letter is from Gary Gibbs. Gary Gibbs, Executive Director of the Texas Commission of the Arts. Whereas the Winnsboro Cultural District was among the first of 43 Texas locations to receive official cultural district designation from the state of Texas, and whereas the Winnsboro Cultural District has operated as an official Texas Cultural District for 10 years and has successfully satisfied the requirements for their renewal as an official Texas Cultural District for 10 more years. And whereas House Bill 2208 of the 79th Legislature authorized the Texas Commission on the Arts to designate the cultural district in the cities across Texas, and whereas the cultural district is a well-recognized labeled mixture of area of the community in which high concentration of cultural facilities serves as the anchor of attraction, and whereas the city cultural district continues to demonstrate that culture, the sum that of everything that shapes the way of life in a town, can lead to transformation, revitalization, economic development, and a better, more vibrant community. And whereas the Winnsboro Cultural District continues to embody the passion reflected in the strong cultural and artistic heritage of the state of Texas, now therefore be it resolved that this second day of October 2019, the Texas Commission on the Arts celebrates the renewal of the Winnsboro Cultural District as an official Texas cultural district.
Yes.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Photo op, yep. Okay, got you guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Section 4, public comments. This is a time for the public or media to address City Council on any subject. However, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the City Council from discussing issues which the public has not been given 72 hours of notice. Issue raised may be referred to city staff or research or possible future action. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. We have any public comments? Seeing none, we will move on to consent items. Let's see here. This section includes items that require action by the City Council with little or no discussion except by a single motion, second, and affirmative majority vote. Items under this section are approved without further discussion or action. Council, do we have any questions concerning our consent items? Questions or comments? Seeing none from the council, does the public have any questions or comments concerning the consent items? Seeing none, I'll take a motion. I'll entertain a motion. Council?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent items as presented.
I have a motion?
I'll second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Promise that's working. Down in the back room. Public hearing and ordinance resolutions. This section shall provide for all other official discussion and action items provided for consideration by the council. Public comments will be called for by the presiding officer before action is to be taken on these items. So our first item is 6.1, the Census Bureau presentation. We have somebody from the
Yes, sir.
Walter Brown.
I don't know what the procedure is as far as doing.
You're good, you're good. You can just
Yeah,
hand out.
please come on. Come on. Hand them out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, my name is Walter Brown. I'm with the United States Census Bureau. I'm a partnership specialist, and so my job currently is to, excuse me, I've been speaking all day. Been in Paris, Texas, training, and so I am here now. But my job currently is to partner with organizations, to partner with elected officials, and so it is to build trust, it is to raise an awareness, and it is to ensure that everyone is counted once and only once in the right place. So April 1st is Census Day. I'm not sure exactly what you know about the census, but it has actually been occurring since 1790. So it's been a long time. Decennial census actually means every 10 years. So every 10 years there is a census. Our last census was in 2010. And so since then, we know that Texas has grown by 3 million. But $675 billion every year is allocated to communities across this country. And that allocation is based upon an apportionment that is set by Congress. So the apportionment is federal funding, it is also congressional representation. And so $675 billion. The funding helps with roads, your bridges. It also helps with your electricity, with water purification. It helps seniors, senior citizens. It also helps with education. $675 million. The implication of not responding to the census is great. And that is because, so let's just say that apparently this particular town is 3,400 people. If only half of the people respond, funding will be allocated to this town for that half. And so that half is actually designed to, again, to repair your roads and your bridges. So we know that half of the funding is actually going to the population in regards to the funding. But excuse me, like I said, it's been a long day. But half of the funding, so if the funding is coming to this town half of the rate, then although it's 3,400 people who are currently here, they will continue to drive your roads, but you're only getting funding for that half. And so the implication is for 10 years, there will not be any changes in the rate. It will continue to be at that half rate. And so my job right now is to try to convince this body to help me to raise an awareness in regards to the census. Currently, I have actually been visiting many of the residents, the business owners here in Winnsboro. Spent a lot of time here interacting with them, but I need your help. And again, thank you. That's exactly what I need. Yeah, I actually need your help. I really need your help to help raise awareness. So April 1st is Census Day. March 12th will be the first time that we will actually start sending out notifications. There will be 4 notifications that would actually go out by mail. For the first time ever, residents will have the opportunity to self-respond online, by phone, and then of course the classic way is through mail. And if we do not hear from them, we will actually come knocking on their door. And so we're hoping to eliminate the knocking on the door piece because it will actually save the taxpayer dollars. And so we're hoping that everyone will respond online. But when we take a look at the numbers of those people who have computing devices within this area, it's very slim. And so we've actually teamed up with the public library to help in that aspect. But the majority of the people can also respond by phone. But we really need your help to help us to get the message across. And I don't know whether or not this body have any questions in regards to the Census Bureau, I do apologize. As I stated, it's been a long day for me. I've been up since about 6 o'clock in Paris, Texas. But, so are there any questions or any concerns?
I have a question. So what is it you need us to do? How can we help to get, what are some of the things that we can do to encourage people to get out? And I see that you're working through our library, and we're really proud of our library, and so it's, what can we do?
Well, one of the things that you can do is to develop a complete count committee. And a complete count committee is a committee that actually steers the response to elicit response from individuals. So that is one of the things that most city bodies or city council members that they're doing. We are also meeting, the organization that I was meeting with earlier today was with United Way. And so they've also created a complete count committee. And this body will actually elicit response from citizens. And so it is coordinating with the media, speaking with the media. It is also working as far as with your educational programs, with the superintendents, local ISD. It's things of that nature. We're also looking to work with faith-based leaders. We're looking to work with not-for-profit organizations. I've already met with Ms. Hansen in regards to some of the things that she's doing with her particular program. And I also met with some other leaders here in the city. So. Anything else?
Is there any kind of like literature or anything that, let's say we do put together a program that we can have access to, and that type of thing?
Yeah, there actually is. We actually have a partnership website where you can actually log on, and all of that information is there. So I handed you my business card. If you email me, I can actually connect you to that link, and I can give you more information in regards to ways that you can actually partner with the Census Bureau.
Mr. Brown, I just want to say thank you for what you do. Taking census is extremely important.
It is extremely important.
And I would just ask that you also, the information you gave to us, if you could also give it to a media person too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Council, any further questions, comments? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item 6.2, Franklin County Sheriff's Posse RPA. Of course, we have a cowboy from Posse.
Good evening, I'm Jimmy Busby. I'm with the Winnsboro Rodeo Association, but tonight I'm actually kind of doing a dual purpose job. I'm representing the Franklin County Sheriff's Posse. They're the ones that host the rodeo in Mount Vernon, but they also host a youth rodeo association. In this youth rodeo association, it is for what they call a Pee-wee division through ages 19. And this year, there was 186 kids that participated in this association. It was a 7-series rodeo that they had to make 6 out of the 7 rodeos to qualify. And of that 186 kids, 126 qualified for the awards banquet this past Sunday. And that's kind of what I'm here for. Due to scheduling conflicts, their president couldn't attend, and we rented the auditorium for this. And so I'm here to see if we can possibly get a refund on that. They are a non-for-profit organization, so if there is any information that we need, I can get that back to y'all. But also, I'm just going to let y'all know that the Winnsboro Rodeo Association is partnering with them for the 2020 season. So in March of 2020, we will start the new season off, and we have increased the amount of rodeos. It will now be an 8 rodeo series, requiring the kids to make at least 7 out of the 8. We will be hosting 4 of the rodeos here and 4 in Mount Vernon. So we intend to put the rodeo arena to further use here. And so, just for some numbers, we paid out this year, we paid out cash money to these kids, $33,000 back to these kids through this rodeo association. In prizes, Sunday afternoon, we awarded $59,000 worth of prizes to these kids. So they are also looking, we had about a 20% growth increase from the previous year to this year, and we're looking to project about another 35% increase this year. So right now we have 25 kids that have contacted us from Arkansas and Oklahoma that are intended to come and join this series. So, with that being said, I just hope y'all will entertain possibly refunding that rental fee on that for this year. And we look forward to an exciting new season. Hope everybody will come out this next year. Our first rodeo that we host will be in April of this year, but there is a website that y'all can go check it out. It's Sheriff's Posse of Franklin County Youth Rodeo Association. So you can check that out and see the schedule there and come check it out. It is a 2-day rodeo. It's hosted on Friday night and Saturday nights. So that's what I'm here for. I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you, Mr. Bowser.
Mr. Lesby,
Yes, ma'am.
so the banquet has already been held?
Yes, ma'am. The awards banquet. We normally host it in the rodeo arena at Mount Vernon, but we were scared of the weather and we were looking for an inside venue. We couldn't find anything big enough in Mount Vernon. So I told them, I said, if y'all are willing to, being we're partnering up, I will see if I can book the auditorium here. And we had 268 people in the auditorium Sunday afternoon. So we had it full.
And so you have already paid your deposit and
Yes,
your
ma'am.
fee?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
How many rodeos do we have here this year?
We didn't have any here this year.
Okay.
They actually contacted us because they were lacking in manpower to host it.
Okay.
And so they wanted to know, we were actually looking to start a youth series here anyway, but there's about 5 other youth series going on, and it was just gonna be, when can you squeak in some more rodeos? So they were needing manpower. We could use the extra manpower ourselves, so we just decided to join the 2 associations together and split the workload between their arena and our arena.
So this next year, we're gonna be partnering.
Yes, in 2020, we will officially be partnered with them, so.
4 of the 8 rodeos will
For
be
the 8
held.
rodeos.
That's good. With contestants coming from Arkansas and other, I'm sure
Yes.
Oklahoma
Yes.
and other, sure. Council, any other questions? Does the public have any question or comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So you gonna come up on here? There it is. Mr. Mayor, I would like to move that the fee be waived for the Franklin County Sheriff's Posse banquet that took place on what's the day?
Sunday, November the 10th.
Sunday, November the 10th, and that be refunded.
I have a motion.
A second.
Seconded. I'll entertain, all, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, consider ordinance 1020-2019, approval of zoning variance 214 Connie May Drive. This is an item, let's see here. We're going to consider request for Franklin County Sheriff. No, it's working. Consider ordinance 1020 approving the variance County May Drive. We have a letter from our attorney, from Stan Lowry. This letter goes to our city secretary, Angie. I really don't think this can be done as a variance. This needs to be a rezoning to a new zoning category. Variances by law must be based upon proven hardships. Plus, variances can't be used to allow for uses that are prohibited by the underlying zoning ordinance. I think we need to take no action Tuesday night and run this case back to the P&Z board for a true zoning case. With that being the case, do we have any questions or comments from the public?
I'd like to speak, please. My name is Tim Park, and my brother and my parents and my family has been residents of this community since the early 80s. I lost a $100,000 a year job with JCPenney a little over a year ago due to, well, all you guys know of the hardships Penny's had, and they told me I could take an early retirement or your position will be eliminated. Now, my brother and I were up here last week in front of Planning and Zoning, and it was approved unanimously as far as what we wanted to do over there. It's basically a domicile. And I could take 2 crates and put them together and throw a mattress in them, and it would be an improvement to that community. So I spoke with Mr. Lowry this afternoon on the phone, and he told me he didn't think there was any issue with it. However, he had concern about how the zoning is. Last fall, I spoke with people here in City Hall as far as, the usage of it. Now, I should say I'm a video producer and photographer and editor, and I go to Dallas and do shoots. My clients are all in Dallas, and then I come back up here and edit it, and I'm doing that currently right now, and I'm throwing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into the banks and into this community. So, as opposed to having a table, I would respectfully ask you guys to go ahead and approve this. What we're trying to do, the main variances that we are asking for is that, and it's SF2 over there, which is well within what we want to do. But I want to build a 1,200-foot structure. They're asking for a 1,500-foot structure, or that's what is within the code. And Planning and Zoning approved that last week. Planning and Zoning approved everything that we put out last week. And the attorney's concern was, well, you can't do it with a variance, but, which I would argue, and I didn't bother to call my attorney at this point because I didn't care to spend the money. But I think it's well within the realms of legality. So I would like to ask you guys to, and Mr. David Corning, who is here, I think.
I'm over here.
There he is. He is quite familiar with this project, and he has blessed it. And Reverend Duffy, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained being up in front of all these important people. But Reverend Duffy, who is a representative of the community over there, as well as Miss Starling, thank you. Everyone in the community has approved all of this. So I would respectfully ask you guys to, let's waive all this and go ahead and let me start turning dirt over there. Yeah, I've been contributing immensely to this community. I've volunteered for the schools. I've volunteered for my church. I'm a lay Eucharist minister in the Episcopal Church here. And my brother has been, a part of this community since the early 80s. So I would respectfully ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please waive this and let's get moving.
Any other comments or questions from the public?
Gary Bradley, Planning and Zoning Commission. We did look at his, and one of the first questions we asked were in regards to hardships, because variants typically aren't allowed without hardships. He expressed several hardships in the process of that, and that's one of the reasons we moved that direction. And I'm not clear as to why the attorney stipulated, I believe it was that it needed to be a different zoning.
Yes, he said, variances to an existing zoning district is not the legal mechanism to go about this. So he said it needed to be rezoned.
This first knowledge on my part on behalf of the attorney's information at this point in time. And if it's not a huge deficit to Mr. Parks, if we could at least have time to review the attorney's information and meet with him, or at least have a telephone conversation with him, because there's certain matters that could or could not be, and I don't know that all the details were put in front of him in regards to the legality of where it currently exists. One minor stipulation might be the fact that he presented a business in a residential area per se, and I don't know that he's going to have, that was our line of questioning then. It doesn't appear that he's going to have clients there, with the exception of maybe one or two people show up for a photograph very seldom. So that was some of the reasons we were looking at that direction and in consideration, because I think he does have a lot of assets to bring to the city with what we've seen and what he brought forward. He had probably one of the best presentation packets that's been before P&Z since I've been here in the course of things. But if it's not a problem, a few days, I know we have a work session coming up on the 19th. If we could get something with the attorney or get some feedback through the attorney to discuss those facts, certainly I think we still have time to put it on the 19th work session so that we move forward with it from there and not delay Mr. Parks too much.
All right. Understand. Thank you, Gary. Any other comments?
If I may just add on that, when I spoke with the attorney this afternoon, he said he just had that put in his lap yesterday. So he just kind of got cold caught with it, if you will. And he says, I don't see that there's any problem, I don't see that there's any issue, but he just wanted to make sure it goes through the proper legal procedures. And my concern is I want to start building soon. So I know you guys only meet once a month, and if we can put it on the planning meeting, as this gentleman says, and we can get it going, and P&Z meets, y'all meet next week, right? The 19th. So if we can get that going, that would be great. I'm using all local contractors to build this. So Curtis Funk out of Olympic Systems is building the structure. And we are closing at the bank for the loan on it the end of this week. So, I would really like to have this buttoned up sooner than later. And I appeal to y'all's graces.
Thank you. Thank you. It sounds like we're still missing a few of the pieces of the puzzle. We don't have quite all that information. The lawyer doesn't even have all the information. And when you don't have a whole lot of information, there's not a whole lot of grounds to make a full decision, to make a completely informed decision.
Well, the lawyer
I think
wasn't.
that that's where we are currently. The lawyer doesn't even have all the information.
Well, he wasn't enlightened until yesterday.
Right, right. But even by that, he still doesn't have all of the information.
Right.
We
I think
don't
short,
have
I think
that.
short hold.
Which means
We just heard from this today, just when we got here, so, I think we're probably, not opposed to things, we just want everything done right, and that's
Exactly.
why we're kind of at a, it's better that we don't do anything, it'll expedite things much quicker if we do that. It's not saying no, we're just not doing anything, so that the powers that be can actually do the they can expedite things quicker than we could if we muddy the water.
any action that we take
Yeah,
we would have to duplicate or extend
Yeah.
that same decision for future
Yeah.
cases, no matter what the case is. So I think it speaks to for our precedents. Any questions from the council, comments from the council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Having no motion to be taken this time. So the item will be pushed back to plug zoning. Easy. Moving on to 6.4, consider the extension of the moratorium on the billboard sign permits. The Planning and Zoning Commission has requested an extension on the current billboard sign permits prohibition to allow time for the city attorney and staff to complete wording for an ordinance. Previous motions from the March and June city council meetings are attached and are part of other items. Any comments or questions from the public concerning billboards? Seeing none. Council, any questions or comments concerning billboard sign permits?
Mr. Mayor, I am aware of the fact that planning and zoning is still working on an ordinance for billboards and planning to work with the city attorney on this also. And they have asked that there be an extension on the moratorium.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the request for an extension of the moratorium on the billboards for an additional 60 days.
Additional 60 days. I have a motion. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Public hearing. Item 6.5. This is a public hearing. It's a public hearing will be held before the City Council in the city of Winnsboro, Texas on the 12th of November, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. The City Council chambers for all persons interested in the demolition and dangerous property listed below. At said time, such persons shall have the right to appear and be heard. The legal description is Lot C, Lot 63.1611, City of Winnsboro, otherwise known as 705 North Walnut, Winnsboro, Texas. Questions or comments from the public? Seeing none. Questions or comments from the public hearing is at 6:10. Open the public hearing.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have visited this already once, and reason we're back here is we found the homestead exemption on the title, the deed of the property, and the city attorney asked that some more verbiage be put into the order, and that's why we're back here again. It's just, we complied with what he asked for. And the reason with the homestead exemption, I can't put a valid lien on it. Doesn't mean I can't put a lien, it just won't be valid if I do. But he has several remedies where he can try to recover the cost of the demolition of the property. So that's why we're going through the city attorney on these few properties here.
Okay. Any questions from the public?
May as well stay, Scotty.
I'm coming back, get another file.
Any questions or comments from council?
So I have a question, Scotty, on this. You said that the city attorney has some more verbiage to insert in this?
Yes, it was.
And that was what?
I'll have to get with Christie to tell you exactly what the verbiage was on it, because she was doing the email back and forth.
So it basically had to do with the lien and the
No.
homestead, or the homestead designation?
The homestead designation, the verbiage that he wanted, and I think it's, if you look on the last line. Section 5, the city reserves the right to take any other legal action necessary to abate these substandard conditions. That's
Okay. Then I have an additional question, and that is having to do with the designated person that owns the property. I don't know that I should say the name at the moment, so. And there have been several letters sent to that person, but sent to the 705 North Walnut Street.
There is no other address for that person. I can't locate anything anywhere.
And all of those have come back because there's no one living there.
Nobody's living.
And you've made other efforts to
Every effort
try
I
and
can,
locate that
every
person.
effort I can think of. Every avenue I can think of. Tax office doesn't have anything but that address.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none, I'll close the hearing at 6:13 p.m. All right, 6.6, consider order number 19-00015 with regard to abatement of substandard and dangerous structure located at 705 Walnut, Winnsboro, Texas. Anyone have any public comment or take action?
We just did 705.
We have to, yeah.
Right.
That was just the public hearing.
Huh?
That was just the hearing.
Any further questions, comments from the council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve order number 19-00015 regarding the substandard for dangerous building at 705 North Walnut, Winnsboro, Texas.
Have a motion? Seconded? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. They're coming to get me. 6.7, public hearing, dangerous substandard structure located at 500 South Chestnut, Winnsboro, Texas, 75494. Scotty? Open the hearing concerning 500 South Chestnut, Winnsboro, Texas, at 6:15. Scotty?
All right. There's everything here.
In basket.
Yeah. you'll see, this is just the exact same thing as the others, and section 5 is that what came into this one as well. There's nothing new, nothing changed. I did speak to a relative of one of the owners of this property and told him what day the hearing was over the phone, plus he got his letters and they chose not to come.
Any questions or comments from the public concerning the public hearing? Seeing none. Council, any questions or comments?
So you did say that you heard from the homeowner on this?
No,
You did not?
a relative of the homeowner.
A relative of the homeowner. Okay. And the section number 5, does that eliminate the demolition of this property?
No, demo can go forward, but again, the attorney has other civil remedies to recover our cost as opposed to liens.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'll close the public hearing on 500 South Chestnut, Winnsboro, Texas 75494 at 6:17 p.m. Moving on to 6.8. Consider order number 18-00165B with regard to the abatement of dangerous and/or substandard structure located at 500 South Chestnut, Winnsboro, Texas 75494. Does the public have any question or comment? Seeing none, does the council have any question or comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve order number 18-00165B regarding substandard or dangerous building at 500 South Chestnut, Winnsboro, Texas.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. I'll entertain vote. All approve, any approved?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's none, motion carries. Open a public hearing for Delray Heights, lot 90, Winnsboro, Texas 75494, dangerous or substandard structure. Scotty?
You an open hearing on it?
I opened the hearing at 6:19.
Nobody here to speak on it?
It follows the record.
I could.
Yeah, this one, I thought this one. We've been here before. This is the last one we're going to have to do like this again, hopefully. The property has sold to some local developers. They have been granted the permit from the city to go there. They've done the work. They've met with the building inspector. They've met with me. The building inspector was explicit in telling him everything that had to be done to bring this up to code, and they agreed to every bit of it. And as of today, when I went by there, they pretty much got it all done. It's looking good. Roof's on, Tyvek's back. They're coming up, they're good brick, front doors on, windows are ordered. But we still need to go forward with the condemnation of this property due to the fact of what the trouble we've had with builders. If these people walk away, we're ready to go. If they do not, if they bring it out of condemnation, we just don't do anything. It's done, so it's brought to code. But I do feel like we need to go forward so the people in that community don't suffer anymore.
How long has this structure been under construction?
Never did it 2 years.
So for 2 years, you've had toe boards, studs. It's a two-story structure, so you've had subfloor.
Oh, yeah.
You've had rafters, joists, floor joists, ceiling joists, rafters, rat runs,
Everything.
palm braces.
The whole 9 yards.
All of it has been exposed to the weather for 2 years.
At least a year and a half, at least a year and a half.
2 winters.
The slabs out there, I know for a year.
I'm less worried about the slab.
I'm just trying to give you a timeline of how it went.
How much of the wood did they remove from this structure?
A bunch.
Half, a third, 3/4?
Probably at least a third, at least. And the floor was a big issue on the second floor.
Who's the construction person?
His name is Brian O'Neill, local.
Okay.
So-
Mr. Cor-
I'm sorry, I thought you
Mr. Corning, have you seen this property?
I have, Your Honor.
Can you please approach the podium?
David Corning, Corning Enterprises. We built 9 houses here in Winnsboro.
If you were to put your family in this house, would you do so?
That's a very nice question. From what I have seen going by there and meeting those people, they are doing it right. I will tell you that. They have taken, as Scotty mentioned, a third of this roof off and put in all new board. The second floor they're working on, that has to come out. They have it all wrapped. They're putting in windows.
So they have they removed the stud floor, the second story?
I did not get in to see that, and I'm not gonna make that statement. I talked to them outside the building. Do I think it's worth repairing and rebuilding? I put a bid on it one time, 3 or 4 months ago, and did not get accepted from the various people because of deed and title problems. But now it's working, and it seems to be moving along in the right direction.
What type of subfloor does it have? Is it wafer board?
Yes.
Yes,
Oriented strand board OSB?
yes. OSB board.
Are there any trusses or any manufactured supports for the subfloor?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so they're
All
manufactured.
trusses were manufactured and built.
What is their construction?
I don't know what you mean by that question.
Is it oriented strand, like you'd have a process board on top? and
Yes, sir, it is.
an Oriented strand.
That's the term I was looking for from you. Yes, it does have a process board on top of it.
Did it have any sort of exterior cover?
It did have, as Scotty brought up, it did have house wrap on it, but over the years, through the elements and the wind, a lot of it was destroyed. As for the roof, it did have tar paper on it. That lasted until about 3 or 4 months ago, and that started to go, and that's the portion of the roof that they have repaired. The rafters looked good to my people. When I brought my project manager through and we walked through it, I found that the foundation was solid. I didn't see any massive cracks, meaning that there would be unleveled in doing that. The plumbing that was roughed in was all capped, which means nothing fell in it or anything. So I was impressed with that part of it. It's going to be a long, hard process to do. It's not one that you can throw together in 8 weeks and sell it. I think it's going to take you a little time.
So the sewer clean out that would have been at the exterior of the
Yes.
house, was it capped?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
As a matter of fact, for the city of Winnsboro, Scotty asked if my little company can come over and clean it up. We went over there and hauled all the trash out, mowed all the grass around it, and it gave it a different look, believe it or not. And I'm really glad that someone is there building on that house.
How far through utilities had they gotten? Had they done any sort of plumbing or any sort of?
No, sir, there was no wiring, there was no plumbing, just the framing was in, yes, sir. They put a little hardy board up on the second floor to encase 3 or 4 windows. Soffit work was done with hardy
A
board.
little bit of cornice work had been.
Yes,
done,
sir.
but the cornice had not been
Right.
completed.
Now they're doing the brick, the front door, and they've wrapped it, which is the big thing to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And the roof is on it.
Yes, it is.
So it's dried in now.
Everything but a few windows on the backside.
I'll tell you, my biggest concern is gonna be that subfloor and the supports, the manufactured supports, the floor joists that were gonna be your beams that go across it. That would be my biggest concern. Those 2 items would be the biggest concern.
Mayor, the only thing I can say to you on that is that the building inspector has been all through my 9 houses, who is really, really good. And I thank him for all the green tags, seriously. When he walked through it with me, that was one of the biggest concerns we talked about, was the second floor. And I know, and I was not party to that, but the people that bought the property, I know he spent time with them, because I've talked to him after that, and really put an emphasis on taking care of that second floor.
Yeah.
That's all I know, and so not walking into it, being outside and looking in, it seems that they're doing what they promised to do.
I have a question. But to Scotty.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Corey.
So what you're asking us to do is to go ahead and complete the process so that it's done, which is in case these people walk away and fail to do. But it looks like they're doing the right thing now, and you're just wanting to have this done.
Have this done, and we've already done it.
And hold it in your hands and say,
Hold it in our hands. If they
please
walk
finish
away,
what you said you
When
would.
when they walk away, we're able to do what we need to do
Okay.
for the people that will.
So otherwise, if we do away with it, if we don't do the process, and they walk away, then you have to start all over again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand.
Question, 2 questions. How long would it take for, you estimate, for them to complete the project? And how long would we give them to?
I see no, oh, you mean in the order that y'all are getting on with those units like that? These are local people. I have no doubt in my mind that they're gonna finish this project and it's gonna be right. But what we've done in the past with the people we dealt with over there and the problems, I just can't see any other option for us to go this way. But as far as the timeline goes, for them to get that house done, the permits for 6 months, and I don't see it taking near that.
You're looking at your week and a half for frame, your another week for cornice and for drying it in. You're right at 2.5 weeks into it. You're looking at another 12 weeks to finish a 2-story house. Is it going to be brick? Is it brick ledge?
Part of it's brick, yes.
Then you're looking at 12 more weeks.
So the permits are good for
6 months.
6 months, and that would be the timeline. If they hadn't got it done by then, that's when we make the move.
Or if they couldn't satisfy us, if they're fixing to finish this project or whatever, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they
They
kind
have
of
to
quit
come back
on.
before y'all and explain to y'all why it couldn't be done. And then you make the decision as whether you want to grant another permit or not. And then.
It's better if they do it.
Yes.
If they finish it, even if
It's better for
it
the
takes
whole
them a little more
community.
time, it's better that they make it nice and settle for the neighborhood, so.
And then, like, again, these are local people, local investors in this project.
It's much more activity than we have on any of the other properties, so. At least somebody's trying.
Mayor has some comments.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
So what you're saying is if they don't complete it in 6 months under the current permit, they could actually get another permit to finish completing it, right?
If,
They don't necessarily have to come back to council for that permit.
it depends on whether, city administrator sees that it needs to come back to council for y'all to make that decision or not.
Well, at some point in
Before
time,
we
don't we have
issued
to take
another
it,
one, I would recommend that because of the trouble we've had.
at some point in time, don't we have to take it out of the category of being condemned? 'Cause it is-
Yes,
'cause it is-
that's
so
what,
it
it
has,
just goes away, we just don't act on it.
it has to come back to the
Yes.
council,
Yes.
regardless.
Well, I have a question with
And when it
regards
comes
to
back
that.
to you, I can say it's done, it's complete, it's inspected.
Scotty, this particular property has been brought to us previously, and council did vote to condemn the
Yes.
property.
Yes.
I would like you to tell me how that came about then, that even though we approved months ago to condemn this property,
Right.
that then it was cleaned up, then it was sold, now it's sold again, and now we're back here again condemning it in case that.
In the process of when it was done the first time, it was not published in the paper with the full, everything that needed to go. That's why we had to come back this time. Then it got in between selling, it got between Mr. Corning, it got between these other people. Okay, what's gonna be the best outcome for this, you know? It winds up,
So the reason that
give it some time.
So the reason that we're back here making the decision again is because we didn't make it a public, because our office didn't make it a public announcement with the.
No, it was made, it just wasn't, all the information wasn't in there correctly
With the paper?
with the newspaper.
Okay. The wrap on the building at the moment, I was informed via email this morning that that wrap has now ended up in the neighbor's yard, some of it, because of the wind yesterday.
I went by there this morning and checked, and that wind was pretty pricey. I talked to Brian this morning on the phone. He called to tell me what process he was at. I told him he picked up. So
Now,
I went over and checked all the houses.
council, the neighbors have put up with this particular house in that neighborhood, with the problems of
Yes.
rodents and mice and wrapping and garbage and construction materials left on the property for almost 2 years. And we need to move forward on this,
Yes.
and we need to either, it needs to either be rebuilt or torn down.
We're in the process, and that's why I'm
That's it.
asking y'all to give us that order. If they walk away, we're ready to go. If they finish it, great, wonderful. But if they don't, we're ready. That way these people don't have to wait anymore.
I have one final question too. So how is it that we as a council can condemn a property, and we've done quite a few of them?
Mhm.
So how is it that we as a council can condemn a property and that property can be sold? Who do they buy it from the,
It can be sold, but our lien has to be satisfied in the process.
okay, so they could be sold by the homeowner or?
Yes, they still own it.
Right, okay, and if you can't contact the homeowner, how is it that another
Then you
person,
can get in touch with
the tax office?
the tax office or the, like if we want to foreclose on our lien, you'll have to get with the city attorney on that process.
So is there currently a lien on the house since we came to move forward?
No, we haven't done anything. If we spend any money, then we would.
When was that first approval for demolition?
You have it?
I think it's in there, it's in the
I
item.
think it was in the comment. I can't find it right now.
It's a lot of pages.
Yeah.
May 14th, 2019.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
So this is gonna ensure that we don't have to go through this again.
Exactly.
If these guys aren't gonna do it with what they started doing it, and if they, need more time, I mean, it definitely needs to be a legitimate request.
I don't think they're gonna need it.
You know,
They're-
so,
they're rocking and
I'd
rolling.
rather they didn't, but,
Right.
yeah, it's.
They're committed to it from what I can tell so far.
Is it possible, could we make it where, you were saying about 12 weeks, it should be to maybe have,
Weather permitting.
right, yeah.
We're in a bad time of year. It could go as long as 4.5 months.
When's the permit expire?
They just got it last month.
So 5
They
months.
get it last month.
Could we maybe, after 12 weeks or 14 weeks, depending on weather and stuff like that, get an update on it to where,
I could come back and give you an update next month at the council meeting if you want.
I was gonna say, I would like to see
Yeah.
that the city
Yeah.
do our
Take photos
diligence.
and put it in the council package and everything.
I would like to see photographs
Okay.
of that structure before they put drywall in.
Okay.
Before they put drywall in, before they put sheetrock in, before they do, I want to, but that structure, there's two things that are warranted,
Mhm.
that are beyond, your plumbing is warranted for 2 years
Right.
by state law, your electrical is warranted for 2 years, but you can't see for 2 years
Right.
by state law.
Right.
Also by state law, there's 2 items that carry the longest, your foundation and your frame. Those are the 2 most important things in that whole house. I'm not concerned so much about that foundation.
Right.
I am very concerned about that structure that has
Right.
been twisting in the wind and been exposed to elements for 2 years. And I would like to see that structure, I would like to see us do our due diligence to protect our citizens before they button it up.
And one more thing you need to keep in mind, this house is brand new, it's gonna be brand new, it's gonna be sold as brand new. The builder does have to warranty the home, he's got to stay behind.
That warranty is only good by state law. That's what you can see is 1 year, 2 year on plumbing and electrical, 10 years on frame and structure. And we're already 2 years into that frame,
Yeah.
and you're 2 years into that foundation.
But actually, they have a permit that
Yes.
doesn't have to be completed for 5 more months. Is that
Exactly,
correct?
exactly.
is it possible to do a deal where we get an update every month, and if they slow down for no good reason, consider going ahead with demolition then?
But if they have a permit for 5 more months already,
Right, I would say, give the order at the end of this permit, and then readdress it.
But this will also give you the ability to quickly get it done.
Yes,
Yeah.
It has teeth.
Yeah.
yes.
Teeth.
So a monthly report
Sure.
until completion
Sure.
with each stage of construction.
Right. He calls me twice a week. I go by and I look, see what he's done. It's a whole lot better than the other construction that has gone on.
That second floor, the subfloor ties everything together.
Right.
And those beams, those manufactured beams, if they get wet, it's oriented strand board.
Yeah.
It's worse than plywood. If it gets wet, it just
I know it does.
falls apart. So I concentrated on 2 items.
Right.
That manufactured beam falls apart, the land board, your whole structure will come down.
I'm tracking with you.
Those are, that's,
And I'll relay everything you said to Wayne as well, the building inspector.
he knows that. He knows that. Any further questions or comments from the council? Any questions or comments from the public? I'll call the public hearing to close at 6:40 p.m.
6:10, I think, is that what we are?
It should be 6:40. All right, item 610, consider ordinance number 18-00172B with regard to the abatement of the substandard and dangerous structure located at Delray Heights, Lot 90, Winnsboro, Texas 75494. Question or comments from the public? Questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve order number 18-00172B regarding the substandard or dangerous building located at Delray Heights, Lot 90, Winnsboro, Texas.
I have a motion.
I'll second it.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's with the understanding of all that we've discussed, so.
So they can't take it out of being condemned until they execute all that. So now it is set for. We're just choosing not to execute. Consider item 611, consider resolution 2019-22 Franklin County Appraisal District nominees. And we have in our packet, we have a list of nominees for the Franklin County Appraisal District. Any question or comment from the public concerning the Franklin County Appraisal District? None. Any questions or comments from the council concerning the Franklin County Appraisal District? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion or nomination.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we nominate Jay Scott as our representative to the Franklin County Appraisal Board, and that we cast our total 32 votes for that person.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.12, budget amendments. Dana?
Okay, we finally round up our 18-19 year and our late 17-18 audit, which should be presented in December at the December meeting, which did some adjusting to our 18-19 budget. And these are my last of the budget items that we need to adjust in order to not show our departments in the red. So the animal shelter and police department are interchanged correspondingly. The library and administration, the pool, and it helps cover the parks and recreation, as well as fund balance to contribute the rest of the parks and recreation, which is attributed to the depot improvements, and as well as the $46,350 for the TxDOT aviation runway grant, which was not executed until, it won't be done until this fiscal year. It was something that was prepaid in 18-19, will be reimbursed in 19-20. They will be starting that project in December. Municipal court and maintenance, the fire department was over budget, we'll cover those. EDC and Main Street will interchange their budgets. Water and wastewater, and then the utility, the transfer in from the EDC is a line item that we just had to put in that they had loaned or given us money for the school water line, and that will have everything showing to be in the black. Does anyone have any questions?
I just have a comment in that in reviewing the financials each month that it seems that the one area that we go over the budget is in the consulting fees.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that we've made adjustments for that in our new budget for this year.
Yes.
But I would just caution our staff and our departments to be very careful.
Yes, ma'am.
Any over expenditures.
Any questions or comments concerning the budget adjustments from the public? Any questions or comments concerning the budget? Any further questions or comments from council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the ordinance number 1019-2019, approving the budget amendments for fiscal year 2018/2019.
I have a motion.
I have a second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to staff reports. Anyone want to address staff reports?
Scott, you want anything else to say?
No, I've had enough. Y'all caught up on me tonight.
Would it be appropriate to ask about an update on the art and wine market festival?
I have a staff report, sir.
Please approach the podium.
It's my first one. She's not used to that. I have a staff report.
Your name and your department.
Library. It's nice to meet you all. I'm so excited to be here. And I know that you all have a copy of the monthly stats that we send you, but I just wanted to bring your attention to the media room makeover that we recently completed. When I first was hired in by y'all, thank you for that, by the way. I had talked to the administrator and some others about some safety concerns I had with the library. And in the media room, it cried out, fix it before someone gets hurt or a lawsuit would occur. So I brought it to the administrator's attention, and everybody that I report to said, definitely put that at the top of your to-do list. So I did. I made it part of my number one first 100 days goals was to get that room safe for little or no cost. Well, we did have cost of manpower. City of Winnsboro maintenance department team was awesome, very helpful. Our IT department, we use K-Bro. They were awesome, came through and did a lot of help, a lot of hours. So the room is safe. I encourage you all to visit it and see. I did create a PowerPoint, but I don't know how to present it to you here, so I hope that since I attached it, you all can look at it at your own convenience. But I just want to welcome you all to come and see the library. Also, on another note, Mr. Brown, I think, is gone, the census person. He met with me a couple weeks ago, and we sat down and discussed how the library could help citizens of Winnsboro with the census process. And I invited him in and said, please sit down, I'd like to find out more about what you're doing and how the library can help you. So he explained it all to me, kind of like he explained it to you all. And I said, well, we have a lot of people using the internet at the library. Another aspect of our redo was to upgrade the user-full software. That was completed today, yay. So it's more stable. If it goes down, our IT guys can remote in, and having all of us having devices, we know when something's not working, it slows everything down. And a lot of our citizens may not have internet at home, and they rely on the library to pay bills, read email. Some people come in and they do work for farmers here in Winnsboro, and the only way they get paid is if they can send a bill to the person that they work for, and we help them do that. So getting back to the census, I did tell him that I would do a separate column on our sign-in sheet that says census. So as folks come in to use the internet, they sign in, they put the time they get on the computers and the time that they are finished. And there will also be a column that I'll create for census help. So if they have questions or need assistance, I'll know at a glance on this Excel spreadsheet who I was helping or who needed more help. And it'll also help us tally up how many of our citizens came in to do their census online. So I'm real excited to work with them this way. And again, when you come in, I'll be happy to show you the things I've implemented as far as the laptops they now use to sign in. Instead of signing in on a piece of paper and you can't read their names, now they type it in. It's wonderful. So please come in and visit me when you can, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope that was not more than 3 minutes. Thank you all. Thank you. Any questions?
I hear nothing but good comments about the library.
Oh, it's so wonderful. I'm so thankful. Thank you.
Can you relay them the story you told me the other day about the little lady who came in?
Yeah.
And
Oh.
talked about.
Okay, so in your packet from the library, I included in the PowerPoint a picture of the display case. And it was empty when I arrived, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it. And we have all these Carnegie books, and we have all these collectible items, and some of it I wanted to get to the museum, and some of it it needs to go to certain places. But I decided to take some of the Carnegie books and display them. And then I'm looking around thinking, what else would be really cool to go with this? Because it's like looking into the past as we move into the future. So we had pictures of librarians from 1909 to 2000, and they're just really awesome. And there's one still living, and she's in the cabinet too. And she came in the other day, and she said, well, first I made sure it was cool with her that her picture was on display. And she said, I can't remember, it's been so long since I looked like that, but it's wonderful, thank you. And she told stories about how she'd spend all night on her knees moving books around and making the library perfect, and that she hadn't been coming in as often anymore. Things that were going on in the library pre-me, so I have knowledge of it all, but she's been coming back in. So she's been just looking around, and she said before she was afraid she might be looked at, being snoopy to see what was going on at the library, but I said, please, the books miss you. You spent 30 years with these books. Please come in. So she left. About 30 minutes later, she came back, and she said, I went to the dollar store to buy you a thank you card for what you've done with this library, but I couldn't find a thank you card that encompassed what I wanted to say. So I just wanted to tell you in person again, thank you for what you've done with this library, and give you a hug. So it gives me chills that we all want to do what we can to make the library a place where people feel safe, they feel welcome. It's a place where people come and get entertainment or research, and children come. So anyway, it was just really wonderful to see her feel like she could enjoy coming back into the library. So anyway, thank you all. I appreciate the opportunity. Come to the library, please.
Questions from the
That's so
media?
fun.
Is it appropriate to get a little report on the Art and Wine Festival?
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Art one.
Cheryl.
Cheryl? I'm not, on- I'm not,
That's you.
I'm not on your
It's a
list.
staff report.
Would you like to hear it though? Because I'll be happy to tell y'all.
Preliminary report.
For next year?
No.
Week's rest.
No.
Cheryl Estes Art Festival. It was awesome. Okay, now next year we all have to pray for Fridays because they continue to be horrible. But Saturdays, I don't know. Brenda thinks I'm way under peopling. Censusing. But we clicked through maybe about 11:30, and we clicked walking Elm and Market, 1,500 people about that time. But Brenda said you couldn't park for ever for miles. So she's thinking we had several thousand people there. And I know that the Civic Center was also very busy as well. We've got some ideas how to work with them next year to get them back and forth. But, I mean, everything was great. We had the most artists we have ever had. I mean, we jammed them in there. So we had 55 full artists. We had 7 emerging artists, and they had a blast in the Market Street patio. We put a tent in there, and we put a tent in for authors. And we had 8 or 9 wineries, 2 breweries, foodies, a couple of food trucks.
Are we in jeopardy of needing to expand?
Are we in jeopardy of needing to expand? Well, now we're going to the art center. You know, the Four Corners is going under the art center. So the festival will be part of the art center. So expansion will be one thing that we need to look at.
The reason I raised that question is because currently our ordinance allows for alcohol, which is art and wine, on Market and Elm, but I don't think that it allows for it on Franklin. If we.
Oh, we'll have to think about that.
Exactly.
The Depot is good with alcohol, though, I believe.
Okay, is that covered under their ordinance?
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Permits.
yeah, but if you can't cross Main Street, you see what I'm saying?
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
If you can't, you can be on the street of Market and Elm, because that's allowed by the ordinance. We may need to, we need to look forward.
Yeah, that's a way to, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is look at long-term plans on how this can definitely grow. But it's a great event. It's been, I can't tell y'all, your money just goes, it's just awesome. I have no idea what our total is yet, but it is a lot.
Thank you for using the new areas.
Yeah.
Those are so cool to see
They're awesome.
those things set up on the inside of
They
the
were-
burned out buildings. I mean, it really was quite cool.
It was quite
It was
cool.
very
We
nice.
plan on more coolness next
Yeah.
year, and we don't really know what the state of that building is going to be in at that time, but it better not be under construction.
I was sitting at
It has been
the,
done, or it needs to be done.
I was sitting at the booth with the animals, Friends of the Animal Shelter. But I could hear people coming and going and talking. And these were people that didn't live here. They were out-of-towners. And there were several couples that came in and out that were not connected with each other. And there was such positive feedback between the two, these people talking and what they were saying and how they thought it looked and how exciting it was and that kind of thing. And it was real positive feedback
We got
from people that I could hear just with conversation in the event. So
It was good.
Hats
It was a
off.
great event. Look forward to it next year. You'll be seeing me in a few more months. And we do hope to expand. Honestly, Cameron, we're looking at, something definitely bigger than what I could even imagine. So we'll be part of it. Thank y'all.
Hold on. I know it's preliminary, but do you think financially it's the best yet?
Yes.
And,
I know even on beer alone, it was the best yet. So, no, it was the best.
what's your crowd estimate, Brenda?
Well, seriously, because the clicking of her count was one moment in time. And as you know, the event went on 2 days for hours, so people come and go. I mean, I'd be really comfortable with 35 to 4,000 that were there in those 2 days. There was a lot of people there.
There were.
I know, I was just sitting at the place I was for 2 hours, and Judy that was clicking people come in, she was at over 1,100.
Yeah, right.
And that was in the morning of, so.
We're terrible about clicking. We need to
Yeah.
do, but we're working on physical surveys, so we're working on that, trying to get y'all
It's
total
very
data.
difficult to do it with an event that is that long or straight, when there's nothing for them to, they're not signing in.
Right, right.
You're not selling, so you're not selling wristbands, you're not selling that sort of thing and monitoring that, tracking that progression. So that part of it's
It is.
extremely
So I
difficult.
think
But
Brenda's gonna be in charge of that next year, because I like her number much better.
What if you gave out wristbands, just as a little memento or something, and that way you can count how many wristbands you put on people's
It's a good idea.
wrist.
So,
Okay, will you volunteer
Not
for
someone.
putting on wristbands?
Yeah, I will. Well, at least in one place.
We do need to come up with a way to get a better census of that time. But it was a great event. It happens because everybody comes, and I will give you all an update as soon as I know the zip codes and as soon as I know the money that came in.
You could use it if you do 2 different color wristbands with those that are 21 or above, those that are under 21. You are serving it, you are having alcohol, and that makes it perfectly, that kind of, yes, makes it a kind of a legitimate way of tracking.
One side note, I met a man there, he's from Iceland. His daughter had a booth, one that had the dresses there on Elm Street.
Oh.
And he's been here 32 years, but maybe word will get back to Iceland.
Yeah. Just to get it back to Mount Pleasant and Dallas is fine with me, Tyler. But anyways, thank y'all. It was a great event.
Any other reports?
I missed you.
All right. Questions or comments from the media? No questions or comments at this time. All right. So the next regular city council meeting will be held on Tuesday, December the 10th at 5:30 p.m. Anyone who wants to present business to the council at that meeting must submit a completed request to be placed on the agenda to the city hall by noon on Monday, 8 days prior to the meeting. We adjourn at 7:02 p.m.
I didn't know it was actually.
If this much excitement about rodeo, then I can say.
Okay. So you just.
Everything Saturday.
I forget to do that.
I'm on film eating.